Hey guys, it's really awesome here. We've got Karen Seams who's joined us. She's Australia's strongest woman under 65 kilos, so thank you for joining us today, Karen. She also happens to be one of my clients, so we're going to have a little bit of a chat about what she does, because for a lot of you out there probably not familiar with the type of sport that she's involved in. It obviously is growing as well all over the world, so thanks for coming in.
No worries.
Now, tell us a little bit about Australia's strongest woman.
So for me, I'm Australia's strongest woman under 65 kilos. I won that title at the Arnold's Australia this year in March.
Yep.
And it was in a competition, 5 events, and yeah, I did really well.
So what goes into the 5 events? What are the 5 events?
So the first event was a yoke, which was a rising yoke. So you run with a yoke on your back. It was 190 kilos for 20 meters, and then you pick up a yoke that's 210 kilos and run it back 20 meters. That was the first event.
So that's the yoke, right?
The yoke,
yep.
yeah.
So then you've got after that.
Then we had I think it was the log press was next, and in that event I did 60 kilos overhead on a 10-inch log, which is quite wide, so it's very awkward. It's really out in front, and you've got to really drive underneath it. So that was the second event, and then the third event was pretty sure it was a carry.
Yep.
So it was a frame carry, so quite a wide pickup, 150 kilos I think.
Yep.
And you had to run it up 20 meters and run it back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are these like one after the other, or do you get a rest in between?
You do get a rest in between, yeah. So in a big comp like the Arnold's, you do actually get quite a lot of rest in between, which can be good, but it can also be quite challenging as well, because you have to keep yourself warm, hydrated, fed, sugared.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's about managing. And I felt that in the Arnold's, I actually leading into that, I just felt really calm and collected with how I approached it, and how I kept myself fueled all day. And I noticed a lot of the girls were like on the Red Bull, taking lots of other things to try and keep themselves awake, and I just consistently kept myself fueled with the right foods, the right hydrolytes, and and I just noticed everyone kind of like really fading, and I was like, I'm still feeling good, and so it kept me going really well. So
and obviously you took out the title.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So not to take anything away from Santina, my friend who won. She actually placed first, but she's from Hong Kong.
Okay.
So she's not. She came over to compete.
Yep.
But she is. Yeah, she's not an Australian, so the title actually goes to the next Australian.
Yeah, of course.
For me, that was me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've got to ask you, how did you get involved in Strongwoman? Where was the process? How did you because it's so unique, it's unlike anything else. And I mean, I know the men have been around probably for a while, and they've got quite a large profile, especially the big heavyweight guys. But how did you get involved in that?
For the women, it's only been really growing as big over the sort of last 6 or 7 years. There's a group of women who have really put in, Strongwoman Australia, they have put in so much to try and grow the sport and get it out there, because it was really hard to actually try to cut in as women in the sport, because it is strongman.
Of course.
So it was hard for women to actually be able to compete and be recognised as competitors and as strong women in the sport. So they've worked really hard to build it, and I feel really fortunate to be a part of that. But for me getting involved, I ended up training at Strong Geelong. So I got into fitness. It was probably about 6 years ago, and started my own fitness journey. Wanted to get healthier and fitter and lose some weight, and just sort of progressively I got stronger over time as I did more resistance training, and then started training at Strong Geelong and Tyson Morrissey, the Strongman Way. He became my coach, and he's been programming me ever since. So for the last 2 years I've been training under his supervision, and I've just continued to go from strength to strength in that, and I loved it. My first competition, it was just the start, and I remember picked up this yoke in a warm-up. It was 150 kilos, and I picked it up and I put it back down. I was like,
Yep.
I
can do
picked it up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just picked up 250 kilos in training just this week and held it for a minute. So
Fantastic.
so it's over that space of 2 years. I've just progressively got better, stronger.
And obviously you've got this passion for it, because I see a lot
love
of girls and guys these days, obviously it's all about CrossFit,
Yeah.
and I mean, nothing that there's anything wrong with
No.
because CrossFit's just a completely different discipline,
Yes,
and I understand that there's a competition component as well. But
yeah.
some of the things that you girls do, it's incredible. I mean, I understand because I also treat Karen as well. So we obviously have areas that we need to focus on.
Yeah.
You have your hip every now and then just gets really, really loaded up, and offload that and all that sort of stuff. Well, what's been what's been the hardest thing about being a strong woman? Is it like, I mean, I know the training's hard, but obviously there's food in it as well. And I mean, the one thing that shines through with you is that you're just so passionate about it. But is there one thing that just stands out for you?
I don't think so. I don't really struggle with it. Like for me, training's always just been something that has been important to me. So I schedule it in my calendar the same way I schedule in any other appointment. Like it's in there, Karen training, and that I know I need to be at the gym at that time. I need to train, and I do it. I think over time as I exercised and sort of talk myself out of going to the gym, and then eventually would go, I'd be like, oh, that was so good. Like like you never walk away.
Well, you've got a goal.
Yeah, and I guess you never like leave a session and go, oh, that was awful. I so annoyed at myself that I went to training. So for me, it just like I know the endorphins and how it makes me feel afterwards as well. But also just to push myself. Like I love going and pushing myself and trying to get more than what I did the week before. So I guess like with the strong woman side of things, as much as I'm so passionate about it and I love it so much, I'm just also passionate about being fit and healthy. So I get to compete and do what I love, as a hobby. I get to do that on a national stage, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's really, for me, it's always just been about staying fit and being healthy and being mentally strong as well.
Okay, so we're 2 weeks out from the comp.
Yes, we are.
So how often are you training?
5 days a week at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as we get, like, say, a week closer, you'll taper out a little bit.
I will, yes. I'll have a deload.
Yep, for sure. So going through those peak times, obviously that's where your body's under a lot of stress.
Yes.
What sort of things do you do to get yourself through there? Apart from some CV. Yeah, but apart from me.
What else do I do? I zen. I really zen out before a competition. I come off social media actually, which is really interesting because that's not what a lot of athletes do.
No, that's
they want to be on there and see what everybody else is doing and getting prepared for, and I'm just like, the training is done, everything's done. This is my time where I actually deload. I don't have training. I go to massage appointments. I go to my sponsor, the Wellness Studio, and I go for floats and saunas and
to the float
rooms.
tanks. Yep.
Yeah. So gravity floats there. They're amazing.
Of course they are.
I'll go for floats. Just really like visualize what I'm about to do, visualize the competition, and get myself in the best headspace that I possibly can. Go and buy my food for the day.
Absolutely.
I'll check in with the chiro as well. I have an amazing chiropractor,
you
Robin
do?
Wallace,
Yes, you do.
Precision Chiropractic. She's just incredible, keeps everything in line for me, which is so good.
You don't have to sell me on that.
I know, you know. So that's what I would normally do.
What's the long-term picture? What's your goal?
Long-term goal, that's a big hairy goal. I want to be the strongest woman in the world under 65. So that's where I'd like to go with it. I'd really love to achieve that. I do have plans in long-term family, like growing my family. I'm married, and
of course.
So that's we've talked about that in the future. But while I'm here and doing it and in the zone, I'd really like to focus on just getting in